get into this. Let's get into this. I had to restart everything. That's why it's on a bit late. And so, and now does it look like I'm frozen? Everything is restarting on my computer. So hopefully you are with me. It looks like I am not. Let me just start. Pick is frozen, but voice is good. Shall I just stay like this? If it made a bit of picture, that would be okay. But, oh, what's going on here then? What's going on here? I can't have my picture like that. Right. I'm going to have to work this out. Now, what do I do? I don't want to look like that. I'm going to have to delete that. That's awful. Let me put some music on and see what's happening with my camera. I'll have to turn the camera back off and on. So that doesn't work. So my camera is off and on. I can't let like that. What is going on? What is going on? Do you want it to? It's just not so flattering. So I just don't know how to get out of this. If that program has done that to me, let me find my other. Okay, music again. Okay. So you just get more of my office than normal. And it's a different camera, so you can work out my books. Let's just try and make it normal Rev Dan. So it's my backup. This is my... So there we go. I'll turn this other one off. This is my webcam. So that's why it's slightly at an angle. But there we are. We're done. We're done. So I forgot to turn my other screen around the other way as well. So I'm going to have to catch up with the... Oh, I'm not in the center now. So I can move myself around. Ooh. Better not do that, else I'll get... Will that do? That will do. Else I'll get too fussy about it. Good evening. Well, that was hectic. I couldn't really test the setup. Sometimes it's best to test setup. It's like me and my son put up the all the Christmas lights on the outside of the house yesterday. I know it's very late, but we needed a tall ladder, and my ladder is a bit dodgy, so we abandoned that, and then we got another ladder. Borrowed another ladder, put the lights up, but guess what we didn't do at the start? Test the lights. Yes, we didn't plug them in, and so we got these lights up, but they're not working. So success. So we just had our carols by candlelight service, and so that's so we just got back, and my family. So I was with my daughter with that, and my wife and my son. They went to my wife's cousin and had a Colombian Christmas. And they just got back, so it's all hectic. So usually you trust that everything's going to work, but it didn't. But that's fine. We got it to work. That's why I have something called backup on here. So yeah, so what's to say? Wasn't thinking that it was going to be on tonight. Well, it's Sunday, and you know it's just before Christmas, and I thought maybe it's just a bit more of a chill time. It's been, you know, busy. I just quickly looking at the chat, and someone said, Psalm 125 said, I returned from my 5th carol service this week. See, and we can just get my microphone out of the way there. And so, yeah, just have a kind of Christmas chat. Can still ask questions and things like that. So, yeah, so we had our carol service just now, which was really good and busy, really busy, which was really nice. A lot of faces we don't see, which again was really great. So we got to hear the good news and the hope of Christ this Christmas. And some, indicate that they're not going to be back because they go, have a good Christmas, have a good New Year. And then others will hopefully be back in the week as well when we got our other services. So you can see how messy my bookshelf is now, can't you? With this, with others, with this camera, I get away with it with the posh camera because it blurs it all. So a lot of the chat, I'm gonna have to go back and edit that so it's not so boring and frustrating. But yeah, thank you, Mr. Breaker, for praying for my tech. We do have put a carol on. Yeah, see, that's not a setup, but I should do that. Thing is, you can't. It's really hard on YouTube to put music on. You have to edit it out. I do have permission from because I know the girl who does that song, and I got a permission from her. But it's actually easier to cut in retrospect, play the music, and then cut it out later. But it kind of promotes her at the start. So, Carol Decker, Mr. Baker, is that Carol Decker? Yeah. So, no, it wasn't. It was a girl called Ava. Silver Star Rocker, turn off the PCC and restart. That's what I had to do at the, before I came on. It wasn't working. Something else wasn't working. And so I turned it off. But the thing is, if I turn it off while this program's running, the one that does this, it will knock off the live stream. So I can't do that at the moment. But we're there now. We're there now, aren't we? So where are we? Mr. Baker says, I'm not broken up from work for Christmas, but Mrs. B had been slaving away to clean the house before the family arrives. Yeah, I'm not broken up for Christmas yet as well either. Getting the house ready. We've not got a guest this year, actually. But we're still trying to get the house ready. Still trying to get the house nice for us for Christmas. So it'll be a quieter Christmas. So, Psalm 125. How did you and your wife meet? Have you been to Colombia? I've been to Colombia countless times. We met in 1998, so 27 years ago. We've been married 25 years. It was this summer. Been married 25 years, and we met in London. She was au pairing. She was learning English, supposedly learning English because she'd been here for like 7-8 months. And when I met her, I couldn't really speak that much English. She was au pairing and I was working. So I studied in archaeology at night school. I moved to London to study archaeology, and I was working in a shop called the Non-Stop Party Shop. And this lady came in to buy some balloons for her son, and so many balloons. I carried them to her house, and she's an American lady, and she put us together. She was like, "Oh, here's a girl. You should take her out." And I took this girl out, and the rest is history. So yeah, that was 27 years ago. But I've been to Colombia a lot since then. Zoe, YouTube just told me I wasn't subscribed and wouldn't let me chat. I had to unsubscribe, resubscribe, and wait 5 minutes. How rude. Ooh, that is rude, because I know you were subscribed. Sorry about that. That's rude. That's YouTube. That's on YouTube. It's like I was just in the living room with my daughter, and I was like, what's the time? To Google. We got Google. I was like, I'm not going to say, the word that you say before to get the little machine's attention, the little speaker. And it wasn't working in the living room. I thought someone unplugged it, and I went over, and it was plugged in. The one in the dining room heard me, and not that they're listening, of course, and told me the time. But the one in the living room was plugged in. Google's having a funny time. Mr. Baker, these adverts are driving me to the Christmas nut bowl. You got adverts already? I put them on for 30 minutes, every 30 minutes. You shouldn't be getting one yet. I mean, we're 12 minutes in. But it's going to support the cause. So, congrats on 25 years of matrimony. Yeah. Yes. We were in Colombia for it. We went off on a little holiday with the family. So we was on holiday in Colombia visiting family, and then we went with my kids and my mother-in-law up to the coast. I never been. No, I have been at the coast, but I haven't been to this place. It was so humid. Oh, it's so humid, and so many mosquitoes, and all the people who were selling stuff on the beach, they were covered in clothing to keep the mosquitoes from biting them, and it was so hot, and I can't. I just how they did it. It was unbelievable. So yeah. Bum, bum, bum. Philip. The Anglican lecture starts the new ecclesiastical year at the beginning of Advent, and the Advent messages are all about Jesus' second coming, brother. Do you stress this in pre-Christmassy sermons? Massively. Massively. I think one of the problems that we have is sometimes we think Christmas or Advent is too much about Jesus' first coming, and which is all nice and it tells us a story, but the second coming is really important. And the second coming is usually at the beginning, isn't it? Advent. So trying to get that across, yes, absolutely. It's so important. Don't rest on your laurels. Jesus coming back. Are you ready? So yeah, we stress that a lot. Stress that a lot. Is there a reason we don't celebrate Hanukkah well as well? Is there a reason why we don't say? I'll have to look at that. It's considered a quintessential Jewish festival, it says here, despite not being an event recorded in their scriptures. But that's off Reddit. Christians don't specifically celebrate Hanukkah because it is specifically Jewish, historical and religious event that falls outside the core Christian theological framework and biblical canon. While it occurs near Christmas, it's a minor Jewish holiday and not a Christian one. So that's why. And I just Google now, which is a bit lazy, but we are near Christmas. Zoe, what's the best way to respond to people who are anti-Christian celebrating Christmas? It's a confusion concept. Yeah, and we can get a bit like, you can have a carol service and you see all these people never coming to church, and you go, "Oh, you never come any other time of the year. You only come in for tradition." Well, actually, what we should do is go praise God that they're coming, praise God that they're in church, because if they're there, then they're hearing, they're singing the carols, they're hearing hopefully the gospel preached and the Bible explained. They're hearing all these Bible readings. So the fact that they're anti-Christian and that's maybe I'm not answering that. Maybe because I got my head, so I still got my head in the carol. So there's people in church. But you'll talk about celebrating Christmas. Well, we got to realise that there is a secular Christmas and there is a Christian Christmas, and they are celebrating the secular Christmas, which I did when I brought up, and it's a lovely Christmas to celebrate in a way. It's all family and meals and presents, and time together, and it's lovely. But it, in one way or another, doesn't last, because when my dad died, it completely ruined Christmas. I was 14 then, so for them, they take the Christ out of Christmas, as it were, and they celebrate something, and it's not horrendous. Again, trying to be gracious with it all, is that people do come together as family and sit around a table, and a lot of people don't do that anymore. And at least it puts it once a year that family will put some effort in and think about others with presents and things like that. There still are some difficult bits in there, but I think the thing is trying to help people understand that Christmas is more than that, or also understand also, what am I thinking? Or also realize that when that, like I did, when that something happens and you can't celebrate Christmas anymore, then what does it mean? What does it mean? It is a difficult one for so many people. It is, because they just want to celebrate something, and it is a nice thing to celebrate. So where are we? So may I ask what shalom means? Shalom means generally translated as peace, but it can bring more in there, like wholeness and completeness and harmony, welfare and prosperity and things like that. But peace is the one that's related to it. And so rockstar, shalom means peace. Be with you. If it's said twice, it's thought it's a great blessing. Kyra. Oh, I'll read it out. No, it's being into so rockstar. Someone to find there was an advert just now, so that means hopefully you won't get one for half an hour. Do adverts, do they come over my face, or do they have side by side boxes? Because obviously I can't see the adverts, and I'm not sure what's happening. I'm gonna go back because my other camera's turned off. I'm gonna go back to camera 1 just to see if it's and then back up just to see if my face is still there. Yep, still pausing time. There we go. Well, that's the program. That's the program. Oh, I could fix it, but it just take too long. Isn't Hanukkah to do with the Maccabees? I think it is. It is the Maccabees and the battles. It's Christmas, so I got a beer. Just starting. Look up the top. For those who ask, it's a Peroni. Not that this is sponsored by Peroni. You can't really see it. There you go. Be nice if I got sponsored, then I can turn the adverts off. That's what we should do. Get sponsorship. And then I'd sit there just having these things behind me. Oh, I'm washing my clothes in fairy liquid this week. Not fairy liquid, don't wash it with fairy bold. What's that? I'm going all the things from when I was a kid. It's bold. Bold 3 in 1. Someone to fight. I mean, it's about the second coming and the first coming. It's about both. Oh wow, this is really lagging. I'm just seeing it's really lagging again between me recording and it coming up on your screen. So I'm like a minute in front of you guys. So get your questions in. I might catch up. Does it work that way? Where are we? Someone to 5 have been to Hanukkah celebrations. I was just watching myself having a beer. That was ages ago. Zoe, we had lots of non-Christians at carol service tonight. I feel like there's a difference between Antichrist and people who just don't believe. Yeah, absolutely. And I think so many people at ours tonight were not church, but it was great that they were there and they enjoyed it as well. And also it's unashamedly where we ask for money as well. And people go, well, you can't do that. Well, actually, we need to, because we always run a deficit budget. And we also talk about what we're doing. So I say, please give. You don't have to give, but it'd be lovely if you give. And this is what we're doing. And I tell you what we're doing, because here's the why. Why should you give to the church? What, earn my money, as it were. So I talk about the things that we're doing. And I said, and it keeps us accountable, because next year I need to tell you what we've been doing, if you give money. And I think that's good stewardship. So it's always those things where it's difficult in church with money and trying to get some of the misconceptions that because the Church of England's got like 10, 11, 12 billion that we get paid. And I say, no, I'm the only one who's paid, and all the money in our church is given by the local congregation. We don't get any money from anybody else, and we have to fundraise, and we always do a deficit budget, and it's hard work, but we are doing these things, and this is the reason why we're here to change lives. So yeah. Zoe. Oh, we had lots. No, I read that one. No, that was it. I went up. Zoe, like you, give someone a Christmas card with a church on, and they purposefully don't show it, not to offend others. It just makes no sense to me. I'm simple-minded there. But it isn't really hard to find Christmas cards, religious Christmas cards. It's not like really, really hard. You can find them, but you would think at Christmas, this is kind of where it shows where society is, and these two different Christmases, is you have to search for Christian Christmas cards. They're not the first thing out there. It's robins on a branch, or maybe a picture of a church, or Father Christmas. You know what I mean? It's like you can buy those easily, but look for the Christian Christmas ones, and you really have to search for them. And yet, Christmas. But this is the battle. I was speaking to someone about this in church this morning. It's the subtle battle that we have with evil, with the devil. You take Christmas and all that it is, and you make it something else. You make everybody believe that it is actually something else. And we don't need to believe it's about Jesus and all that stuff. No. This is what Christmas is truly about. And I watched a Christmas movie the other day, and it was talking about what's the feeling of Christmas. To be good and kind and share with others. Those are good traits. They're good qualities, but that's not what Christmas is. And also, Advent becomes Christmas, doesn't it? We forget about Advent, that Jesus came, but Jesus is coming again, and that's hugely important. So, yeah. But that's the battle. That's the battle that we have. But it also means that we can have opportunities to have those conversations. Oh, my camera's all slightly off. What YouTube likes, what people like, is if you sit in the top third, your head's up here rather than down. But I'm slouching because I'm resting. Over to you. Okay. So the adverts go over me, they block everything out. Well, they were talking about put them side by side because people get annoyed with that. But if it lasts a few seconds, Zoe, go get a beer. Very non-bio. That's it. Not fairy washing up liquid, because that would cause chaos in the washing machine. Mr. Baker, a nonconformist colleague, was saying that Christian festivals and traditions are a distraction from Christ's message. I said I can see how this can happen, but that they can also be great biblical focus. Which is right. So this conversation I was having with the guys in our church, who I would say probably a nonconformist, and he was talking about but you use candles, you use robes, you got all these things there, you got all the liturgical colours, and I said yes, they can become like a distraction. They can become something that isn't helpful, but also if we can also use them as tools to make them helpful. So it's how we use them and what level of importance. Could we do services without them? Yes, absolutely you can. You have to, because if you're relying on these things, then they're probably a bit too more important, as it were. You need the gathered people, really. But they do enable to worship and to concentrate. So the liturgy, it takes you through. So next year we talked about, as a church, having one service where we go through the communion and what the different parts mean, and the importance and what it is in the Bible, and what's it saying here, and what's it, so people understand what they're saying every week, because people can just come and they're saying these things and they just don't understand the theological importance. So to go through those things to help people understand what they're saying, so they can take it more seriously in what they're doing. And I think that's what we do with those things. It's not throw the baby out the bathwater, but to to use them to help to enhance worship and things like that. Philip, whatever happened to OMO washing powder? I never heard of OMO. And Surf washing powder. I know Surf. Zoe, how is a church supposed to maintain the building without donations? Exactly. And it's easy, isn't it, to stand there and go, please give us money. This church is going to fall down, blah, 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 and it's going to close. But I want it to go with a positive message, year on year. Look what we're doing. Here's the reason why. And yes, we still have all these limitations. We got a grade 1 listed building, so beautiful, but it's expensive to maintain and run. And that still is the fact. We need money for that. But we also, I want to talk about how we're changing lives in the village and different things that we're doing. So, but yeah, without donations, we need it. But so many people don't talk about money. They just don't. And the way that I see it, it's not ours anyway. Everything was created by God. It's God's money. It's, and there's some people in there who have money. Sorry, people out there who have money, and they, it's how they steward. We just say, help us, because we are here to change people's lives. So Psalm 125, I went to a carol service earlier. They served such an amazing lunch, roast meats and all the trimmings and Chinese and Indian Brazilian foods, reflecting the diversity of the congregation. Wow. That is an afternoon nap. That is an afternoon nap. That's amazing. We talked about, someone said to me after, well, we do mince pies and mulled wine after the service, but we've got so many in the church, we literally got no space. It'd be lovely to be able to do that, and we might next year, but it's trying to think how we could, because the space, it was just full. Billy's Craft Food, Eden online for cards. But that's the thing, that's what I mean. Eden online. Eden, and then I get money. So I need to get all these sponsorships and turn off the adverts. But you have to go to a Christian place. You can't. That's what I mean. You can't find them in Tesco or Sainsbury's or Tesco. You stop at Tesco. Every little helps. I don't know Sainsbury's slogan. We haven't got one near us. We got a Tesco near us. Zoe, I got my Christian Christmas cards on Amazon. I just got some with the church and a Merry Christmas for the non-Christian people I know. Yeah, my wife ordered some off at Amazon the other day to top up for the people who were in our church. Mr. Baker, Christmas cards are available in our church piety shop. Oh, there you go. Yeah, we should sell them as a church. Oh, that's a way to raise money. Or I could do a Rev Dan shop, and buy your Christmas cards from Rev Dan, biblically orthodox. So, and then you support the channel. So, that's a good idea. That's what I should do. Next Christmas, you'll be blasted with sponsorships. My bookshelf will just slowly be replaced with adverts, and then I'll have these shops selling these things. And then I can pay for the things that I don't think I've ever paid off what I spent so far, but one day hopefully I can pay myself back. Zoe, yeah, you'll struggle to find Christian Christmas cards in the supermarket. Yeah, it's a shame. Got to change that. Remember one year, the Good Chocolate Company they got their Easter eggs in the Christmas into the mainline supermarkets, I think, for a year or two. I don't think they're there now, but they did, and that was a massive win. Instead of, Smarties or Maltesers. So, I wish. Imagine if I suddenly got, oh, well done, Rev Dan. We were just finding out you were advertising our stuff, and we were going to give you money. Then we looked at your YouTube channel and we really realised that you stand on the teachings of the Bible, so we don't like that, so we're not going to now. Billy's Craft Room, fairy liquid in a washing machine, make me think of the goodies when they had so much soap it spread across the whole street. That would be Yeah, I remember that slightly. Bob Mac OMO pronounced Omo. Omo. I never heard of Omo. I never heard of it. Mr. Baker, why are some Christian denominations teetotal when Jesus himself made water into wine? He obviously appreciates its value, provided we don't use it to excess. Exactly. I've got no problem with people drinking or doing those things, as long as they don't do it to excess. I remember saying to a friend when I became a Christian, I said, "Oh, I became a Christian and no, I think it's when I became a vicar." And they said to me, "Oh, you're not going to not drink and things like that, and not get." I think they literally said, "You're not going to get paralytic and things like that. You're not going to stop." And I said, or drinking too much. And it's like, I'm older anyway. You just stop doing those things as you get older anyway. But yeah, I wouldn't do it as a Christian, but I just wouldn't do it because I'm getting older. It's like you don't do it because you're getting older. So yeah, it's people pitting on the Christian thing, isn't it? You become a Christian, become boring. No, still drink. So, but it is confusing when you meet some like Baptists. You don't know if Baptists drink. I don't know what other denominations are out there that you would think, do they drink? Like Baptists. And is there any others? I always struggle with the Baptists. It's like, do you drink? Omo used to stand. Omo used to stand for on my own invitation for all visitors to school a message inbox of washing powder. I didn't read that right. Omo used to stand for on my own an invitation for visitors to call a message inbox of washing powder. Okay. Bob Mac. After last week's discussion on communion, I spent an hour listening to a podcast talk about each denomination's rules for taking bread and wine. It's insane. They are so different. Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it? It's so different to what people... And it's also... if you think about people, not just the denominations, but people coming up for communion and receiving communion, what they think is happening and going on and what they believe. Even in the church, we'd have so many different thoughts of what's happening. Again, that's why I want to go through a communion service to help people understand what's happening and explain when we do the words of institution and things like that. Billy's Craftsman, do you remember the giant white kitten too? No, I don't even know what Omo is. I'll have to go off and search that. Billy Crafting. In medieval times, people drank wine as the water was too dirty to drink a lot of the time. Yeah, exactly. And beer, ale as well. And they used to brew it in different strengths. And the kids used to get the weaker strength. So, yeah, that's my archaeological days. That is. Billy's Craft Room. These are washing products for the pre-70s, is that perhaps? Ah, see, I'm just a young pup. So, I never heard of it. I'll go on Wikipedia. That's very cheeky. I'm only joking. So, Silver Rockstar, I think that these sacramentals have taken a backseat in the faith of the church. But for times like Christmas, the festive side is given more expression. Unlike the rest of the year, it's a worry. I gotta get. You know what? I think I'm just tired. I can't get things in my head at the moment. So what's this say? One thing that is good about the church liturgical year is you do get these different seasons where people come and visit, and other seasons where they don't, and it's an opportunity to build up and edify the congregation and encourage them and to teach them. I'm kind of aware on like these places like the carol service, it's a real great time for the gospel opportunity to be preached, but we also got people from our congregation there, who come along, and it also needs to include some meat for them in there as well, which is really hard to do, but it is. That is one thing about the liturgical year to appreciate, I suppose. Captain Lockheed, Omo, odd man out. If you know, you know. I don't know, but other people will know. Sunshine Lady, I think because many people come from alcoholic families, also race and tradition have to do. If you're French, Italian, or Spanish, drinking wine with meals is part of their tradition. Yeah, it is. Like kids in Europe, it's interesting. Kids in Europe drink as part of a social thing, like a meal or a lunch and stuff like that. Whereas I remember growing up with my mates in a small town, and alcohol was withheld, and so we used to, as teenagers, go out and just get drunk and get really drunk because you didn't know limits and things like that. And so we introduced ourselves to alcohol rather than it be introduced in a sensible way. So, yeah. But Matt, you are a very young Rev Dan. I'm definitely an oldie now. I am middle-aged, whatever middle-aged is. I am middle-aged. Well, do we know I always think about this because, like, just because my dad died at 44, his middle age was 22, and he didn't know. Of course, we don't know, but we say middle age because we all think we're going to live until a certain age, and so we take it as a general like middle age. But who knows what the true middle age is? I think if you were told what your middle age was, how you would live the rest of the other half differently. If my dad got told, right, 22, you're middle aged now, and you go, oh, I'm going to die at 44, how your life would be lived differently. If you got told at 44, you're middle aged, I'm going to get to 88, how you would live your life differently. But that's part of having that mindset, I suppose, isn't it? And living every day for what each day is worth, a gift from God. British Craft Room. Monasteries Soz Spanning were known for their brewing skills, weren't they? Monasteries. Soz, yes, monasteries were. And that's why you still get a lot of the ales today who kind of hark back to those old monastic days, because it's kind of like, oh look, there's this history and this is all good. But yeah, monasteries were known for their brewing skills. They were very good. Bad Matt. Oh, Google tells me Omo became Purcell. Ah, okay. I remember Purcell. I'm slipping down again. I got my Christmas jumper on. I got so many comments about my Christmas jumper. People like it because it's not so garish. But there was like Bold. Remember Bold? Bold was, I know when I was growing up, Bold was Bold 3. It was known as Bold 3. Barb Matt, as the giant white kitten was from the Goodies. Oh, right. Okay. I haven't watched the Goodies for a long time and I can't remember. As if you're regular, and if I said my memory is shot, so I just don't remember stuff. You ask me on a Tuesday, Wednesday what I preached on a Sunday, I'm struggling. It's that bad. But because I don't know any different, it's not like people go, oh, isn't it like sad that you can't know? Because if I can just go look up what was written down, but there's a lot that I just. We play games at dinner time with the kids, my wife and the kid. We play these different games, and one of the games is asking. It was quite cool. You think of a number, right? You think of a number between 1 and 10, and then no, let me start again. So there's 4 of us. One person covers their eyes, and one person chooses a number between 1 and 10, and that's the scale of the number, and then the person who doesn't know the number asks a category, and then you've got to answer. So, like, best transport. So because I love my motorbike, I love motorbikes, I would say I put motorbikes 9, 10. But I would put, say, a bus at 3 or 4, and a train maybe 5 or something. So I would think what would they, and so if the number's like 3, I would go, a bus. And then you go around, and then you got to guess the number. Really simple game, good fun. But my daughter, and I can't even see, this is a problem, I can't even say the question that she asked me. She asked me, oh, that was it, favorite Christmas present. And I'm like, I can't remember what I got last year, let alone 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. So she said, okay, then favorite birthday present. I'm like, same. I have no idea what I got last year. So, which is really bad because, I always worry, like, when people go, Vicar, what's this verse, or say this verse? I have no memory of verses. I remember concepts, but verses, specific verses, no idea. And they'll go, but you're a bad vicar. But I just can't remember. So, a long explanation. Once again. Billy's Craft Room. I'm new to regular faith and got a copy of the Book of Common Prayer. Is this still used in church, and do you know any channels that do morning prayers? Cannon Fire with Father Phil does evening. I don't know who does morning prayers. I don't know. I don't know, and the thing is, I don't know, because we do our church prayers on Zoom, so I've never had the need to look, so I'm not quite sure. But it's good that you got the Book of Common Prayer. We have a couple of our services in Book of Common Prayer, but no, I'll just Google it, I guess. Silver Rockstar, goody goody yum yum. Goody goody, I know that. I remember that. Mr. Baker, ecce thump. Ecce is here is in Latin. When you see it in my church missal, I think of the goodies. I'm going to have to go watch the goodies now. Cara back now. Oh, looking after kids. Bob Mac, that's really sad. Your dad died so young. Rev Dan. Mr. Baker, oh, IP, my dad's dad. Yeah, it's pooey. It is. But that's what sent me on this journey. And I became an atheist. Fuddy kind of atheist for 20 years until my mum died. When she was 63 and I was 33. But that's what made me become a Christian. And I didn't want to become a Christian. But it made me become a Christian. Then I went off to be a vicar. So I came to faith through suffering with the death of my parents. And it's pooey. And I wish I came to faith a different way, and that my parents are still here, but the world is broken. There's a lot, I've had to do a lot of theological understanding of all this, and why does God let bad things happen, and all those. But I tell you what, the fruit of it is like, I don't waste their deaths. So people come in and they literally go, why does God let bad things happen? I'm like, yeah, let's have a conversation about suffering. But it's not nice when you're 14 and your dad dies one night. Cara, beer instead of water, yay. But yeah, to be honest, you know this French, we call them French stubbies, the little ones. Every time I catch myself on the camera, it's so clear, it's weird. The French stubbies, they're like water. I don't know if they're like 3%. They're like 3p each. Well, they used to be 3p each. Probably like £3 each now. Village Craftman. Everyone having a tough time. Get a calculator and add up the number of days you have been alive, and that's how long Jesus has been by your side. There you go. Christmas jumpers. Are you wearing your Christmas jumpers? Christmas jumpers, such a thing. What did we do a couple of weeks ago? We did something in church a couple of weeks ago, and no, hardly anybody was wearing a Christmas jumper. I think they've all been brought out now. A lot of people tonight were wearing Christmas jumpers. But it's interesting, isn't it? This one is a bit more formal, carols by candlelight. So you're trying to keep this reverence and in there. And you're trying to hold different things. You're a bit constrained to time, but it doesn't feel like one of those where you go, oh, let's have a look at your Christmas jumpers. We got a service like that on Christmas Eve at 6:30, Christmas Eve celebration. It's like more of a relaxed 9 lessons and carols or carols by candlelight. And we'll do that because there are some really good Christmas jumpers. I'll show you my Christmas jumper. I ordered one for my son and for me. They were the same price. It's over here. Just bear with me. I'll just get it. I'll scoot across. You can quickly screenshot my office now to see how messy my books are. Anyway, so I ordered one for my son and myself. And I got my son right, and I got him a medium, and I got me a large, and they put them through, and they came. And then mine was, this is mine, the American football, by the way. I'm a Lions fan, and he is a Jets fan. But it looks big. I have to go back here. But it's not. It's a kid's one, and it looks like it can fit. But it needs stretching. But here we go. Rev Dan, I'm 44. So I might have to order one in the future. And the reason why I did 44 is because my dad died at 44. And I don't want that number to be a horrible number, which it was for her years. So 70 years. And my son his number for American football is 88. Because he's my son, double it. So I own that number now, as it were. I don't use it as a bad thing. So, but I can't wear it unless I lose a lot of weight. It's one of those ugly, I can't believe it was a different price. It was so gutting that it was just the same price. The children's one as the adults one. Anyway, it is what it is. We are there. I hate you got Christmas jumpers on. Best ales, best beers, wine, and even cheese were made by Irish monks in monasteries. You know, this is the thing. They did, and they set the they set it all off really. My stream is now catching up with. I wonder if my stream's behind. Oh, it's not. It was me. So I apologize. My stream was not behind. My stream is actually the same as yours. I think I'm a minute in front of you guys, and my it wasn't live. So that's me. It's a long day. Where are we? Han, pardon, Rev. Dan, hope if not rhetoric questions, but how would one answer about the health and wealth prosperity gospel to as is sinful to be rich like Forbes 500 rich? There seems to be two extremes. No, it's not. Okay. The prosperity gospel where people are preaching about for money for them or their church and stuff like that. Well, and they're going to use it for their own wealth and gain, and their leader of the church, absolutely abhorrent. That is absolutely wrong, and that is so anti-Christian. It is, because they love money. They don't love God. They use God to get money, to get rich. It's such a worldly thing. But if people are rich, then people are rich. And, it's a gift to make money. I haven't got that gift at all. But it's a gift to make money. And if they're rich, as a Christian, what could they do with that money to help? And so many people. So I don't care if there's Christians out there, millionaires or billionaires. It's not a problem with me. It's about how they steward that money. And the same question is, because sometimes we can do the money thing and say, oh, you got lots of money, you got to do this. Well, what if someone's a really great communicator, or someone's a really great designer, or seamstress, or whatever it might be, cook, and they're not using their gift for God's glory and furthering the kingdom? Well, that's just as bad. That's just as bad. We've all got different gifts and talents, and we all must use them. And so the people being rich is a very different thing from the prosperity gospel. The prosperity gospel is horrendous, absolutely horrendous. And we need to get people out of those churches and never give to a prosperity gospel church. It's just going to go line people's pockets. Billy's crafting. I can quote a verse, but not where they are in the Bible. Yeah. Billy crafting. I lost my mum when I was 18 to terminal cancer. I feel your pain. Yeah, sorry to hear that. It really is just. But I think what's worse, and this happened to my sister-in-law and the anniversary is going to come up 4 years ago, between Christmas and New Year. She lost her son in an accident. And to lose a child, I think, losing parents when you're young is hard, but losing a child, I don't think it's not even any comparison. They're both tragic, but that was, Cara, thank you for sharing that, Dan. It's hard subject, suffering. It really is. But that's why I try to honor and speak about it, because it helps people. One lady came to my church and she was really in a bad way, and she was talking about this, didn't believe in God, but I knew she was there, and I was the right person to speak to her, because I was like, I know what you're going through, and here's what I've been through. And you connect. She's in our church now. She's part of our church family. Got confirmed. Did Alpha. Is good. But it was that suffering part. But most people are suffering in one way or another. That's the thing. We are in a world that's broken, so most people are suffering. Billy Crafting. I did a rework of the 12 Days of Christmas based on events of the 2020 era. Oh, okay. What's that? What rework is that? Because I want to click on Billy's craft room to understand what that is, but I don't want to go off the screen. Zoe, just grab beer. Cheers. Still start. Hope is helpful. Hope is without hope. That's what I realised during COVID. Really, whole things break down, but the only hope is Jesus. But Matt, that's a whole lot of books. It is. It's a lot of books. And the worst thing is, you might be able to see it a bit clearer now. I tend to, you see here, I tend to put things on the shelf. And I'll drop stuff. And look at that book over there, just shoved in. And I'll drop stuff all over the shelves. And there's lots of stuff. And some things you can't see, like that is a bit reflective. But that's stuff that's just dumped. And I kind of rely on the camera being blurry. And over there. Those books there are my non-theological books. My everyday books. Some archaeology. There's Richard III book there. War books. Mostly archaeology, historical stuff. And that's on my theological books. And I stopped buying theological books because I ran out of space. And so I get them on Kindle now. Or mainly listen to them. But you got to have books. I think if I changed my backdrop, if you were there in the early days, I still sat in my office, which was a converted garage, which wasn't really converted, in Princess Risborough. And it's freezing in the winter and so hot in the summer. And I had one of those Billy bookcases from IKEA with books on. And I also look really young. So you can go find these old videos of me and I still sat in front of a bookcase. But people would go, no, you got to have the bookcase. You got to have the bookcase. Where are we? Zoe, it's not sinful to be rich. It's just difficult for people who are rich, but it's no sin, says Zoe. And it is. I think it's a burden. The more I'd love to be rich, get lots of problems out the way, wouldn't it? Turn off the adverts. But it's a burden. It's a burden. Cara, how we steward and use our resources is the point, I suppose, whether it's a little bit or a lot of something or in between. It is, absolutely. But again, we don't put a lot of money. I think, and that's the thing, we can, when it comes to gifts and stewardship and stuff, we can put a lot of money and then hide behind that with our gifts and things like that. Same with the whole sexuality debate. Oh no, that's your issue. That's your sin that you have to deal with. But mine, let's not talk about it. Let's put yours up there. No, you stand at the front of the church and talk about what you're suffering with. No. We just talk about that all the time, but I'll hide behind mine. They're all not good. So, in different ways. What else do we have on this Sunday night just before Christmas? The fourth Sunday of Advent. Christmas on Thursday. Are you ready? That's a question. That should have been the question at the start. Are you ready? Have you got everything? Is it all wrapped? Because my answer is no. No. Tomorrow's my day off. Monday's traditionally my day off. And so that will be the running round part. So, Han, thanks for your reply. Rev Dan, growing up charismatic, it was hard to discern even now. It's hard to explain to the rest of my family who is still ardently in the prosperity gospel. It's crazy. Like, when they say, oh, if you give even like large amounts of money, if you give $1,000 or pounds or whatever it might be, you're going to get more back. But it becomes about the money. Like, I'm going to pay and I'm going to get more back. It's not about the money, and it's so much teaching and reading the Bible. This is why it's so important. Thank God for people like Tyndale and all those who get the Bible out there for people to read themselves. It's so important, but people don't. Zoe, I lost my dad 13 years ago. It was probably the hardest thing I've dealt with so far. Yeah, like losing, because it's not just mourning the loss, it's mourning all future events as well. That's what people don't understand. They think you can get over it, but you mourn all those future things that they're just not there for. So it's a continuous thing. Every so often I'll go, especially with my mum, something happened and I just want to tell her, because that was my first reaction. I'll call my mum and let her know. She'll be so proud. And it flicks in my mind every so often. And then I go, oh, I can't, and then that's mourning. You mourn that because you can't do it. So it continues. Police craft room, as I enjoy Messiah, so to speak, to current times. I'm lost the context on that one, sorry. Billy's craft room, finished first read of New Testament, and to describe my experience of the Bible would be mind-blowing. That's very cool. That's very cool. That's good. Zoe, wow, there's a lot of books, about 3 times as many as I have. Our minister has a mini library at home. But I got a lot of mine on sale, though. I got a lot on sale. And the thing is, I got books that I disagree with. But the thing, if you want to wrestle with these things, you have to read books that you do disagree with to understand what the other side's saying. And people go, oh, look, I see that book on your bookshelf. It's like, yeah, because you need it for reference, because you've got to remember their arguments. Sunshine Lady, people who suffer the most tend to be used by God if they forgive and heal. They have a mission by God, so rejoice. It is true. That is true. And I saw this many years ago. I think what God does, he takes your greatest gift and your worst, the most difficult thing you've been through, and uses those. So I always communicate with people about my coming to faith through suffering. And people are, So people have a gift of compassion or listening, and then they've got something else which drives them. I think one's a driver and the other one's an enabler. And God uses that. So, and I saw that. I see it so many people, and it's encouraged them. Use it. Pron ICD. Hi, Rev Dan. Just picked up our son at Gatwick from Denmark. My lovely wife Valerie is also with me. Give us a shout out. Please give a shout out to Christian. He'll be amazed. Give it a while though. But I fixed it now. Hi, Christian. Welcome to England. Hopefully you have a good time. Sorry we haven't got snow. I'm very disappointing weather. One day it could be raining and horrible. The next day it'd be sunny. But yeah, welcome. I met a guy we had our carols in the pub on Friday, and I went in there, and a guy, he's been following the channel for a while, and his wife's parents live in the village, and he said, I've always been looking out for you, and never seen me. And then he was in the pub and we caught up. Lives in Luton, Presbyterian, really nice guy, and his wife. Got 3 kids, but planning on have more, maybe up to 6, which is mind blowing. They're gonna save the church just through having children. But welcome, and hello to Valerie as well. It's cool. It's cool to meet people and give shout outs like that. Zoe, no, speak to the Sunshine Lady. I messed up on my, that little bar on the side where you get the chat. If you click it wrong, it just shoots off on the chat, and then I'm lost. So I'll go back to Zoe. He's just grabbed a beer. Cheers. No, I know I'm a lot further down than that. Cara, I'm finally ready, but not wrapped yet. Getting there. Yeah, that's it's always Christmas. I literally sometimes come back from the midnight communion and have to continue. Zoe, that's disgusting. Manipulation of people for money. It's horrendous. What's interesting? It's big in the States, big in Africa, and it's come to the UK, but it's not inherently in the UK, if you know what I mean. It's like in the denominations, which is good, but it is here, and it but people are aware, but it really hasn't taken its hold. Where are we? Nick Stone, I'm Orthodox Christian of Greek roots and birth, and although different tradition, I have great respect for you, Father, and your work in making Christ real and present. Thank you. And this is the thing, I appreciate that, and I appreciate people from different denominations speaking. And I think the thing is about having a conversation and trying to be authentic and putting what you believe out there. As I spoke to this guy in the pub the other night, he, we agree on a lot, but we disagree on a lot of other things. But we could have that conversation and work the things out. But the greater good is what we have commonality, and that commonality is the core truths of Christianity. And there's some things that we won't agree on, but they're not going to not get you to heaven. And so, I think in today's society, where Christianity is more marginalized, instead of being like yesteryear where denominations used to attack each other, and that wasn't a good witness, is to come together and acknowledge, we don't believe the same things and we worship in different ways, but actually we need to, this is a fight, isn't it, to get the gospel out there on a united front. Kalex, hi Rev Dan, have you read On the Incarnation by Saint Ignatius? No. It's probably the easiest answer. No. It's one of those I haven't got time to read. I'm just looking at it now. But it could be something that I listen to. Oh, wait a sec. Now, I say that I might have. And the reason I say that is because there's an app that I got called LibriVox, which did all these old Christian books. Amazing. Some books that you would never find now. And people have got them and they read them. And I read like some medieval ones. And I used to run a lot and listen to these books, listen to loads of books. And now I'm thinking about it, I might have. But I didn't take notes because I was running. So I did try to get through a lot of these historical books. But again, and this is my problem, because I listen to these books and I can't retain information, I try to remember concepts. And some books I have to listen to it again if I enjoy them to try and remember. It sounds crazy, so it may be. Mr. Baker, hello, you're back. Where did you go? Where did you go? What did you do? Zoe, no. But his craft room. I'm very thankful for the Holman Rainbow Bibles. They are pre-highlighted in dyslexia. Oh, safe colours, and at last I can read the Bible. Here's a tip. If you're struggling to read the print on the thin... Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know. I suppose it's one of those things, isn't it? Unless you know, you know. Unless you're going through that, you don't know. Unless someone brings it up. So, I remember someone saying to me, if someone's got molecular degeneration, it's good for them to have it on a yellow card or paper, yellow paper, like for home communion, so it's on card, to put it on because it's easier for them to see. And of course, and if you don't know, you don't know. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, you don't know. So, you know what I mean? So that's good. Maybe we should, because some people are still might be embarrassed about that. Maybe we should just get some of those. So that's the Holman Rainbow Bibles. Are they specifically for people with dyslexia? That's my question. Oh, I use the ESV Dyslexia Edition. Oh, we got NIV in our church. So do you know if they do an NIV version? Be good to get some copies of those for the church to offer to people. Bit of crafting. Paper Bible. Put a thicker sheet of paper underneath the page if you want to read it. It minimizes bleed from other pages. Oh, I see. And the overlays. Astadine. Hi, Dan. Hello, Astadine. Silver Rockstar, I'm dyslexic and partially sighted. Could do with a very large print dyslexic Bible. Okay. See, this is good. This is good. This is what community is about, to help and to educate. Because I didn't know this. The chap, Mr. Baker, the chap looking out for you, did he not rock up to your church? No, he's really Presbyterian. I mean, they moved to Luton for their church. And so they were going to plant a church, so they moved, and so they're fully there, and so he didn't come to my church, but he was looking out for me, which is nice. I said that in my sabbatical next year, I said that if I got a spare Sunday, I will visit their church. Quite interested in, because the Presbyterians, and you know, Presbyterianism is not huge in the UK. Oh, it's not. No, it's not really. And so it's like trying to understand what how they worship, and you know. And he was describing it to me, and I went, "It sounds very Anglican," you know. So I was quite interested in what they, how they worship. So, some people rock up to my church. Zoe, Orthodox are very passionate. I'm Presbyterian because I'm more nerdy. Oh, you're Presbyterian. God put the perfect church right next to my house. So now I know 2 Presbyterians. Sunshine Lady, I miss the mince pie made by my British boss wife on Christmas. A real delicacy. Mince pies are a danger to vicars. They are a danger to vicars. I don't know. If you took the collective weight increase through mince pies of vicars and pastors and ministers across all the denominations, across the land, it would be substantial. So we all suffer with that. But it's nope. I'm just trying to catch up. Graham Lawrence, how can Sarah Manali go forward to be consecrated as Archbishop of Canterbury given the revelations? Channel 4 News this week. Well, I did a video about that on Friday. And I think in one way is let the Channel 4, I'm not saying I'm not saying they're right or they're wrong. Channel 4, it's like their thing now is to go after these bishops and all the archbishops. It's their thing. And the investigation might be right. I think the thing is, and even like theologically, Robert Thompson for London is calling for everything to be paused. And we wouldn't agree theologically at all. But I think that's the best thing, is he's right there. Pause. It's a big hassle. But the last thing you want after Justin Welby resigned over safeguarding is for the new Archbishop of Canterbury going to be installed with this cloud hanging over her head. At least get everything out in the open, get everything sorted so you can go in without this there, without it ever being questioned. And because of the context of what happened with Welby, it's just like would make sense. And if she's cleared, then she's cleared, but I think it's too much to safeguarding such a big thing in the Church of England at the moment. It would be better just to say, let this process run. We'll make sure that all the stuff that is done is thorough, and then we'll come back, But the funny thing is, isn't she? So it's the Archbishop of York and Sarah Manali anyway, who's temporarily running the Archbishop of Canterbury vacancy anyway, because they're so, it doesn't make any difference in who's running it. But I think she should step back in that sense. I think it would be just contextually. I say that in the video. It's not a long video, so you can see that there. British Craft Room, macular degeneration. Sainsbury's are currently selling sets of coloured overlays. A Humour Rainbow Bible is available in NIV. Great, that's good. I'll try to remember and get that ordered for the church. The fact that Sarah has accepted the stand in means she's not listening to God, in my opinion. And that the whole safeguarding thing isn't even whether. So I was thinking about this the other day. Whether you're for or against women's ordination, she's going in anyway. She's going to be Archbishop Canterbury, whatever. But the whole thing is just damaging, especially if more safeguarding stuff comes out, or she goes in and then it's proven that she didn't do something. I mean, just get it sorted and get it out in the open. Cara, I use my highlighter in my Bible, and that helps a lot. It's an extra large font in New King James Version, and I got macular degeneration. You just meant, right, okay, yeah. Is the yellow card thing right that I talked about? What I was told. Zoe, unfortunately, the NIV does not have dyslexic version. Would be good though. It's much easier to understand. It's a whole new world. Is that I haven't even thought about. Isn't it interesting that we got Bibles all over our pews, and we haven't got one for this? And that's talk about accessible church. How do you make it church accessible with people who have got different disabilities? Even making it flat to get for people to get into church. Right. Oh, I got to catch up. Cara, actually, several colored highlighters, but the yellow background is definitely the easiest to read. See. Yeah, answered my questions. You're prophetic. There you are, Cara. You're prophetic. Prophetic, not pathetic. Prophetic. The Christos. I never made them. They were sent to me. Is that your first comment? I didn't see you speak before. Okay. Oh no, it's good it's in capitals because it gives me a mark. It's easy to see where I was. So yeah, Presbyterian is much the same as Anglican, just different form of leadership. Yes, that's it. It's the leadership. Yeah. Astadine, I had that, but as a kid, I forced myself to read chapter of a children's book every day after school and sorted out the reading. God did it. It was really hard. Okay, so that's dyslexia, I guess. Psalm 125. There was a church in Ealing I know called International Presbyterian Church Ealing. They're very family orientated. Well, there's two, isn't there? Two denominations of Presbyterians in the UK. This guy was telling me, and it's one as an international one and something else. I think that's what he's saying. Billy's Craft Room. CSB, Grace Bible, currently the only translation available so far, but the Grace typeset is specifically designed to make it easier for dyslexic people to read. It also comes with a set of colour overlay. Okay. Zoe, yes, our presbytery is very family orientated, and that includes Christian family. We teach each other as our own. Yeah. So I will see a Presbyterian church next year, which will be interesting. Presbyterian. Oh, Mr. Baker, I heard Presbyterians are auctioneers of church buildings. I think it was a joke though. So we Presbyterians can often not get church buildings too expensive. The upkeep is massive. I know. Yeah, the upkeep is big. British graphic. If you put a link in the comments under the video later, if you like, is that? If you put a link in the comments, is that who's that? Just making sure, is that to me or is that someone else? Bruce Reed, Presbyterian are very similar. Rico I switched recently. Oh, that's what. Yes. That's where he went, wasn't it? From All Souls to Presbyterian congregation. In saying that, he was preaching back in St. Helens Bishop Gates. Really, you know, it's the Anglicans. You can't get it out your blood, really, can you? Zoe, I would never accept a job ministering, as I don't believe women should lead the church. We have other strengths, though, massively. Psalm 125 at Mono Inglés. Just catching up with chat. Could Bishop Sarah choose to step down from being the ABC? Is that possible? And if so, what would happen? She could choose to step down, like Justin Welby did. Because he hasn't been consecrated, the whole process will start again to choose another Archbishop of Canterbury. Or perhaps the possibility, because there's two names that are submitted to Downing Street and to the King. No, two names are submitted to Downing Street. One is submitted to the King. So the one that is a backup perhaps could get the role. So that could be the other scenario, I think. Not church law, but I know there are two names. So again, we just have to see what happens. But there was a lot of publicity. When I looked on Channel 4 News on their YouTube channel to find the clips, it's interesting how many views you see. All the videos round, and it happens on mine. So the one about Sarah Manali didn't get that many views, but it wasn't a viral video. It wasn't gonna get a lot of views. You do videos knowing that they only get a small number of views. For me, it's not about the views. It's get the information. I prefer people to watch it because the information gets out, but it can be very specific. So only, a lot of people who watch my channel go, that's a very Church of England video, I'm not going to watch it. But the Church of England people do. And so when I looked on Channel 4 News, and they got all these videos about the ones about the safeguarding with Sarah Milani were well watched compared to some of the other videos around. So people do take a massive interest, and that's got to be taken into account as well with holding all these things that are happening. So it will be interesting what happens next year. Next year will be big because we got General Synod as well with the House of Bishops. Bringing back what they're going to decide. What are they going to decide? And what happens with this? Will there be a reaction, or will they just go straight through with the installation? We'll have to see. Nobody knows. Some people do. Astrodine. I think the colour is blue. Is that for the macular degeneration? I think it is. Paul Hayhurst. My wife is Presbyterian, very anti-tradition and early church fathers. But the laughable thing I told her is that they have their own tradition, which is back in the Reformers. Zwingli. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like an atheist saying, I'm not religious. And it's like, well, atheism is its own religion now. You've got a huge belief. Zoe, it's a yellow overlay. Okay, cool. And your presbytery is incredibly traditional. And that's the thing though, isn't it? It's like the Church of England. It's very broad. So I can only imagine you get different ministers or presbyters doing things in different ways. Bruce Reed, Rika Tice is now a member of the church. Yep. Oh, in Ealing. Yep. Zoe, 2 presbyteries in England, in the UK. Okay, right. This is rare. I'm going to do this. I really need toilets. That beer's gone straight through. I'm going to play a song. Chat amongst yourselves. I say rare. That's like the only time. But I was just thinking, if I carry on, I'm just going to be moving around. I'll be doing the wee wee dance. Let's see if my old camera. Yep, still there. still looking down. Yeah, so there are 2 presbyteries in the UK. Right, there we go. The Allegory Messery is awesome music. So we got a lot of Presbyterians on here, and we used to have a lot of Catholics as well. Where are the Catholics? Speaking in Latin and things like that. How's Presbyterians with Catholics? That would be interesting. Luca Lala Lucas. There's no such thing as Presbyterian theology. It just refers to how the church is organised. Oh, okay. And how decisions are made. In Scotland, it's very broad. Some high, some low, most in the middle. Oh, okay. Right. It's because I know it's bigger in the States, isn't it? But it's not so big here, so I never really heard of it. Or not heard. Of course, I heard of it. I mean, big enough to know what it is. British Craftsman, do you want me to put a link in the comments after the video so you can find the Holman Rainbow Bibles and the greatest one and how you find? Put it in now, and then I'll click on it, and then I got the thing up. Put it in now, because once I finish, yeah, it all closes down. I shut everything down. Put it now. That'd be great. So what Lala Lucas said, say theology at CV. Oh, okay. Yeah. Christoph, I dropped COVID in the UK. Okay. Paul, Anglican is Puritan influenced. Yeah. Christoph, I gave you all an extra home payments, no one else making. I'm king, not them. What? Oh, you know what? I haven't. Oh, I can use it in timeout. Timeout 5 minutes. I think that they're just not being great. Am I right? British Crafting. I see the CV is keen on inclusion. Ask if my church would like some help with that as a neurodivergent soul, and they said yes. So I'm putting a box of resources together for them. That's one thing actually that has come from the left on this. The left's thinking is they're actually more compassionate and aware in that way, and it helps to make other people aware there are people that are different from us. So that's one of the good things. Paul Wayfarer. Morning, Rev Dan. Paul Wayfarer, you're in Australia, right? Good morning. I've still got a whole sleep to get to. Good morning. You're so much closer to Christmas than us. You're so much closer to get your Christmas present than us. What do you have? Do you have turkey? What's your traditional meal? Morning, Rev Dan. Thank you for shorts. Some of the recent ones are so beautifully put, and you move me so much so that that have to write them down. God bless you. Oh, thank you. Well, I can't take credit because slightly I can, because I put the main videos together. But there was a program that I used that goes through and pulls out the shorts. I then go and look at edit, change the words, make sure it's in English. Make sure it starts and ends nicely. And so, yeah, I will take a slightly a bit, but I'm glad that they help. But they all come from the main video. But yeah, YouTube likes shorts at the moment. So I'm watching American football in my left vision. Someone went for a field goal but hit the post. So that's good. Yeah, it's interesting shorts. What was I going to say? I do get caught up in shorts, but I try not to, because you can just scroll and scroll and scroll. It's crazy. And sometimes I have been on YouTube shorts and then I'm scrolling, and because I've got different accounts, I can come up and watch, and myself comes up, and I'm like, I can't scroll away because it looks like I'm dismissing it, and then it doesn't help. It's all for statistics. YouTube want watch time, and so I have to watch myself. So it's like and people have seen me do that, and they're like, oh, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing it because I love myself or I'm arrogant. I'm just honouring my watch time and not swiping myself away because it's dismissing. Oh, dear. Billy's craft room. Crossbow education has set some assessment overlays so you can find out what. Oh, okay, that's cool. All that beer. It's only. Oh yes. Look, but I'm only drunk half. I tell you what it was. I had a glass of water when I was in the service. I had a glass of water and I was drinking water there. So yeah. Zoe, I really love theology. Theology is cool. I was thinking this. How we reconcile outside of God, outside of theology, how we reconcile how everything works. Everything came into being, how everything interacts with each other without God. And, it's kind of crazy, because then you come to know God in it, and then you start seeing it and it starts making sense. And it's so easy to see how amazing everything is when you get theology into it all. So, Paul Hayhurst, Presbyterians follow the Westminster Confession of Faith. It's more than a stretcher. Sure, it's higher and lower dependent on the church, but they're quite firm on maintaining doctrine, at least in Northern Ireland. Yeah, and this kid was, he was very firm on what he believed. He's like, this is, he's like, I am a pedo Baptist. Absolutely, I am. And it was just, yeah. So I could see that. I'm not saying that one person makes the whole of the denomination. It might have been just his personality, but you saying that, I could see that in there. Mr. Baker, Donimus Robbie Vabiscum. What So the Catholic, yep. I don't know what that means though. So you have to tell me. I have to Google. Zoe, well, we'll see some Catholicism as hocus pocus, but not all. Modern Catholicism is much better. Lala Lucas, my Church of Scotland church sometimes has joint worship with local Catholic. Oh, really? Wow. But not with the Catholic minister, though. Not the Catholic priest, surely. Christos, it says message deleted by Mono Inglés. It's a view deleted message. Oh, wait a sec. He's got a channel. Okay. Anyway. Yusuf Islam 365. My name's Jeremy and go on an Anglican church that belongs to the HTV network. I love your videos. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. It's getting out there and just helping people, really. In this time of confusion, as my new intro says, but it is a time of confusion. Paul, I'm Catholic, by the way, not Presbyterian. My wife can't stand anything Catholic, very political. It is interesting how different people react to the Catholics out there and how much they will work with them or won't work them, or whether they would see them Christian or not Christian. And it varies. You know, I really haven't got my finger on it. I think it's not, it can be denominational, but even within the denominations, it's very mixed. And I suppose it's what we were saying before with different people, like we were saying before with communion. Cara, Presbyterian churches are pretty big in Ireland, particularly in the north. Oh, okay. Right. I think I might have kind of known that. I think so. Vincent Button, my wife is Presbyterian, rainbows everywhere and decrease in attendance. Oh, really? Really? But then we get that in the Church of England, so I can't be, you know, you will get a call. And this kid was nice, you know, he said, the Church of England's dead. It's going to fail, you know. And he said, I respect you for staying there, but I think you're fighting a lost battle. But my thing is, I don't think God's not done with the Church of England yet. And we will all have those different opinions, but it's about being obedient to our calling and seeing. But yeah, I didn't know that about the Presbyterian churches. Zoe, turkey and gammon on Christmas Day. We talked about gammon. I'm not quite sure. I got to go this week. But I think when I go Christmas shopping for food, I'm going to go on my motorbike because it's, even though it'd be freezing, but it's easy to park. I hate going to. I used to work for Sainsbury's years ago, and Christmas was crazy. I mean, it was in Oxford, in North Oxford, in Kidlington, and you could take £400,000 in a day, if I remember rightly, something like that. I think so, or at least 280. Might be 280. Might be 400,000. Anyway. Or 300. Let's just say it's 250,000, because even 250,000 in a day is crazy, just on food for Christmas. Crazy. Mr. Baker, Angus Day. Oh, it does turn into English. Or Lamb of God, who takes away the sins of the world, have mercy upon us. Angus Day, que tolis paqueta mundi. Oh, okay. Oh, right. Sorry, Presbyterian start in Scotland. Right. And then came down to, so you can see why it went to Northern Ireland. I get that. Yep. Vincent Button, I love the carol service. But had the cold and did not want to affect anyone. I skipped. Yusuf is like, do you mean American soccer? No, I mean American football. American football. You should have been on here earlier. My team. It's my team. Yay, go Lion! In my child's large jumper, which doesn't fit me because I didn't check when I was ordering. It's called Red Zone, and it streams for like 7 hours, and my son watches it while I'm doing this, and then we'll go and talk about it. But it's just so much is going on. My son will go, "Oh, did you see that?" And I'm like, it kind of all goes into one. I remember it, but I don't remember which team. So, Zoe, it's Eucharist we mainly disagree with Catholics on, and the Pope thing. Took me a while to spell Eucharist, but got there in the end. The Pope thing's a massive thing. I think that's a stumbling block for a lot of them. And the works thing, which for some Catholics, they don't believe that either. But the Mary thing is a big stumbling block as well, a big stumbling block. Zoe, I'm not saying the Catholics aren't Christian, and that's what I'm saying. You can't go for the denomination, and we can't go for any denomination now. And I know that being in the Church of England, Anglican. A lot of people say it's apostate, and I'm like, well, there's so many faithful biblical churches still in the Church of England, and it'd be interesting if you could find out. It'd be a lot of work, but there still more faithful biblical churches in the Church of England, and still bigger than a lot of the other denominations. Yusuf. My church owns its own brewery. It's called Hackney Church Brewery Company. Oh, hey, what? That's the way to do it. Chalfont. What could we call it? I wonder if I could convince my PCC. We're going to make a brewery. Zoe, Catholicism is not how it once was. I love Nick Ticconi. Just don't agree with him on everything is all. Is he Catholic? He's not. Is he Catholic? I'm not sure. Psalm 125. My father was a Scottish Presbyterian and my mother a Southern Irish Catholic. Theirs was what we call a mixed marriage in those days and very much frowned upon. I was born in 1950. Well, yeah. So my parents were born 2 weeks apart in 1946, and my dad was born Catholic. My mum was born Church of England. Culturally, not really practicing, and they married each other, and that was frowned upon, and they got married in 1966. They got married in. Lala Lucas, yes, the priest, minister, co-lead worship at sunrise on Easter mornings and our local Saints' Day, amongst others. Oh, that's wow. So that's interesting, because some Catholic priests just won't work with other denominations because they are false denominations in their eyes. So yeah, that's good. That's good. Han, another random question, Rev Dan. Certain more fundamental Reformed, confessional, puritanical type denominations are against Christmas and would quote the Puritans, but how would you reply? If you was on it earlier in the stream, I would, speak about Christmas and things, and robes and candles and all those things. I think it depends how you hold them and how you see them. Let me just read. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing to celebrate Jesus. Again, we have to separate from the secular Christmas to the Christian Christmas, because they are two different things, absolutely two different things. But it is a tool to be able to engage with people. So at Christmas, we had a carol service tonight. We had a lot of people in our church which wouldn't come to church. So if we didn't celebrate Christmas, those people would never come to church. So how do we engage with them with those things like Christmas and Easter and harvest and Mother's Day, when we always get visitors, So for me, I'm not so hardcore to say just don't celebrate them. We don't recognize Christmas. And yeah, there are some Christian denominations that just don't even celebrate Christmas. And I think, well, I don't see theologically why we wouldn't, but I don't hold all these things as really sacred. I see them as, I'm very missional, and so I see them as a missional thing. So, but other people hold those beliefs, and that's fine, and I wouldn't knock them. Christos is back. I'm rebaptized Church of England Protestant. Good. Sorry if I just paused you there for a sec. I just didn't know what you're saying, but that's good. Zoe, the confessional thing, we don't agree with Catholics either. Does anyone know the story of Martin Luther exhausting the priest? Poor priest was exhausted. No, I didn't know that story. But in the Church of England, I've got friends or definitely one friend who does the confessional, because we got Anglo-Catholics, and they're very, very Catholic, and they do the confessional. JM, how old do you think people should get baptized? How old do you think people should get baptized? They should get, because we do pedo baptism in the Church of England. If they haven't been baptized, I would say, if they believe that Jesus is their Lord and Savior, and they understand that, and they confess it, even if they're 6 years old, they should get baptized. Kids have a deep understanding. So I think if they haven't been baptized as a child where they can't speak, I wouldn't put an age on it. I would just speak to people to understand. Vince Burton, lol, Detroit Lions. Yeah, you know what? I love the Detroit Lions because they just go for it. Like, it's fourth down. Basically, if you don't understand American football, fourth down is your last attempt. You get 4 attempts to get 10 yards. Fourth down is your last attempt. And some people, what they do, they're doing it now. They're literally doing it now as I speak. 4th and goal. They got about three yards to go. They always go for it. They go for it. Some people go for a field goal, and I'm just watching it. Oh, they didn't get it. Some people go for a field goal. It's safe to get 3 points. But the Lions would just go for it. And I love that play. I'm just like, yeah, let's go. That's me. It's just like, go. So, go for the danger. Yeah, but we didn't get it. Hey ho, it's good to watch and not boring play. My son got me back into American football, because remember, it used to be on the 90s on Channel 4, and I used to watch it back then. But now he plays a lot of American football. He loves it. Paul Hayhurst, you're part of why I'm still in the discernment process. Lots of fighting, but I'm focusing on what's important. Love Jesus and being attentive to the needs of people in the parish. I'm guessing that's to me. I won't take all the glory. Your part, it might be someone else you'll speak to, but if it is me, thank you. I speak to people and say, because if people say, well, do I stay in the process or should I go? I feel called to the church, to be a minister in the Church of England. It's like, yes, because God knows you, and God's not surprised by what's happening. He knows, and God's on his throne. He's in control. And he's called us in for such a time as this. The problem is we get it in our heads, like I did. I'm going to go into the Church of England. It's going to be like this. It's going to be wonderful. Oh, what a wonderful life. And it is, but it's hard. It's really hard work at the moment. And it's, it'd be easier to leave and have a quiet life and do something else. But God hasn't called me to do that. So it's more me and my expectations of what it would be. So I would say, yes, stay in, because God knows you and your gifts and talents and what. So don't be surprised when you go in and where you end up. It's exactly the place that he wants you. I never knew that I was going to do the YouTube. I've been doing YouTube since 2017. And I was doing it like a vicar's life, and here I am as a vicar, and look at what I do. I didn't know I was going to do this. In fact, it was me reacting to the way the Church of England was and just started to speak out on it, and it gained traction. If the Church of England never went away from the gospel, you would never know me. It would, if the Church of England was still gospel focused, preaching the gospel and discipleship really well, and I would not be known. I am only known because I stand up and speak out. But I should, more than anything, I wish I was unknown. I wish, because then the church is doing what the church is supposed to do, and I wouldn't have to speak about a faithful remnant. Wouldn't have to help people in their discernment process or their faith in. I'm glad that God's using me, even though it's cost cost. It's a cost. There is a cost to that. But prefer the church just to be what the church is meant to be, and me just to be in a small parish vicar in Chalfont and Giles, and imagining what it was, what I thought it would be as a vicar. So, right, where are we? Let me go. Christoph. Oh, I got some catching up. Providence, thank you for the shout out. They loved it. Have a fantastic Christmas, Rev Dan. You too, and enjoy your time with your son. I'm glad he enjoyed that. Zoe, yeah, we have 5 solas Protestant in church. Okay, I'm gonna go. Speed. Miss Becker, just as Rev Dan said, abominations happen in all denominations occasionally. Yep. Taconi is Catholic. Okay. Vincent, my dad Anglican, married my mum Catholic. Now we're all over the place. That is one thing. That is, it does cause confusion. My wife is born Catholic, by the way, from Colombia, and now she's in an Anglican church, but she would say she's Catholic. That's one thing. I to be honest, I was saying this to someone the other day. That's one thing that Catholics get so well. They if you're born Catholic, you'll say you're Catholic till the day you die, even if you go to other churches. They think, oh, I wish we could get that in the Anglican. I'm Anglican through and through. But yeah. Han, thanks, Rev Dan. Thanks for the reply, Rev Dan. Recently, some of the more confessional fundamentalist type denominations are much more vocal now. It's intriguing to see how things will play out in the near future. Yeah, and just quickly on that, I just think maybe it's just me getting older or just doing this YouTube for a while. It's like they stop being uptight about everything. I think we're quite introspective so much. We start fighting about all this stuff. I'm like, just get out there. There's people who just don't know God, and let's concentrate on them. And we spend. I'm not saying it's not important to speak about those things and work them out, but let's not put all our time to them. Martin Luther spent hours confessing his sins to the priest, and the priest had to say, "Hang on, mate, I need to get home and sleep." It's like, wow, was he playing games? Christoph, I was baptized as a child, but rebaptized later on. Oh, okay. But baptism as a child still works, but people have different theologies on that. Zoe, I've got a Catholic family. Barmat, well, it's getting late. I'm slopping off to bed. Have a great Christmas, everyone. Have a great Christmas. Probably in bed now, asleep. we will come into land. It's nearly 10 o'clock. JM, you probably remember me, my friend and cousin 1515. Oh, we're going to send to I want to get baptized. Oh, JM, yeah, I know you. Well, next time you come to church, have a word with me. And that's not necessarily saying you get baptized in my church, but we can speak about what baptism is. Where are we? Christoph, there was no Orthodox church there. I chose Church of England. Yeah, like I said, that's good. Well done, Christoph. There are, even though the Church of England might not be considered Orthodox across the land, there are a lot of Orthodox local churches. And that's where it should be, back in the local church. Mr. Baker, I'm glad our priest used incense at Mass today. I love the scent. A lot of people don't. I don't mind. I don't use it. I don't mind the smell of incense. It is quite a pleasing thing. Mr. Baker, is LLF on hiatus then? LLF, we will wait until January when the House of Bishops are met and we'll put out their recommendations for General Synod. I think they're finding it difficult. It's what we knew and what a lot of people said for the past 2 or 3 years. They're trying to square a circle. And now it's getting down to the nitty gritty. They're finding it difficult, I think. And that's what a lot of opinion is. So it will come back in January and it will go to February Synod. And we will see what will happen. But January, the House of Bishops statement and their proposal for synod in January will help us understand what direction they're going. Dorothy, have a wonderful Christmas, Rev Dan, and everyone on the channel. Getting late for me, yes. I get late for all, but have a wonderful Christmas too. Psalm 125. Since I've been in the CFE, I've noticed that there's a lot of christenings and more dedications and baptisms by full immersion at my church. People and teenagers, as well as adults, are baptized by full immersion. Yeah, and the preference is full immersion. And in my Curacy church, we got a sheep dip, I think it was, wasn't used for sheep dipping, but it was used for baptisms by full immersion. So yeah, absolutely, it's a better preference. But if you can't, sprinkling is just as good. Part Psalm 115. Wish you all a happy Christmas, a happy Hanukkah, and a happy New Year. Poor Wayfarer. Noah didn't want to build an ark. Jonah didn't want to get to live in it, except you are in good company. Yeah, thanks for reminding. You need reminding of those things. Yeah, it's good. JM, I shall come soon after Christmas. So yeah, okay, cool. We'll have a good Christmas. Mr. Baker, we pray that LLF has the right decisional outcome. And there we got to the end. Oh, no more comments. Or the only comment that we could do. Say hello to my mic. The only comment that we could do is to say Merry Christmas. Oh, Zoe. Yeah, if you were in a wheelchair, you probably wouldn't be able to come do a full immersion. Yeah, that's it. Well, that's a good comment. I just want to say have a great Christmas and thank you for the support. Thank you for coming on the live stream. Thank you for the community. Thank you that we can bring something across so many denominations. And I pray that with your friends and with your family and with all those things, you have the most wonderful Christmas. And we have to remember that the reason for the season, and that's Christ, and celebrate that. That's it's doing both, and I don't mind doing both. I do not mind celebrating Jesus's birth. I don't mind waiting in great anticipation for his return, and then also having a wonderful time with my family and my friends, and then just enjoying what that brings, because that is beautiful as well. So Merry Christmas to you all. Have a wonderful Christmas, and I will see you maybe not next Sunday, but in the new year. So have a happy new year as well. And as I'm not smooth at this, I should just have a lovely outro, but I haven't. Anyway, Merry Christmas and a happy new year.